Hi, this is Eric Lete with Cisco TAC, and today we'll be discussing how to regenerate a self-signed CAPF, or CAPF, that stands for Certificate Authority Proxy Function certificate. Before we start, it's important to understand the impact of what happens when the certificate has expired. You may notice that phones are not authenticating with Phone VPN, 802.1x, or Phone Proxy Service. You may encounter issues with issuing new, locally signed certificates for phones. And you may also encounter problems with encrypted configuration files simply not working for your phones. These particular steps we're covering today are for clusters that are non-secure. I'll show you in just a second where you can check. If you have a cluster in secure mode, check back later for different instructions. To check your cluster security mode, you can navigate under CM Administration to System and Enterprise Parameters. Search for Cluster Security Mode. In this case, it's set to 0. That's a non-secure cluster. If that's your scenario, go ahead and proceed with the instructions that we're sharing. Next, I recommend going into RTMT under the Voice Video tab and selecting Device Summary on the left-hand side. Note down the number of registered phone devices that you currently have, because at the end of the steps you'll need to reboot the phones and you want to make sure that the device count comes back up to where it was before you started. The first step is to go to your Call Manager Publisher and go into the OS Administration page. From there, go to Security and Certificate Management. I recommend sorting by the certificate type you're going to be working with. So we're going to enter in CAPF as the certificate name. And we're also going to sort by expiration date. If you have a lot of certificates, that really helps clarify what you're going to be working on. Now we want to identify the certificate that needs to be regenerated. In most cases, it's going to be the CAPF certificate for this node. In this case, we're not particularly interested in the CAPF trust. The trust is simply a container that holds other certificates that are important to the CAPF service. Every node will have its own unique CAPF certificate. So select the certificate in question. You might even tell which certificate it is because perhaps it's already expired. In our case, it's not. That's okay. Once you select the certificate, you can verify it's the correct certificate, perhaps by serial number, if that's something that TAC has given you. You can verify the expiration date again and the product type. Click on Regenerate and wait for the success message. Once that's finished, you'll note that when the page refreshes, the new CAPF certificate will be listed in its own trust as well. Here's the new cert. And here's the new cert again in its own trust. Now you're going to move on to the subscriber, follow the exact same steps. Identify the single unique CAPF certificate for that node, select it, click on Regenerate, and wait for the verification success message. Continue with these steps until all nodes in your cluster have a regenerated CAPF certificate. A final note here, you'll notice that unlike other certificates, the CAPF trust will only contain a copy of its own CAPF certificate. It will not contain a copy of the CAPF certificate for other nodes unless somebody has manually imported those in. Finally, we're going to go back to the publisher and go to the serviceability page where we're going to restart some critical services. From the serviceability page, go to Tools, Feature Services, select the publisher, and you're going to restart the Certificate Authority Proxy Function service. Select the service and click on Restart. Once that's back online, go ahead and restart the Cisco TFTP service for the publisher. And then you're going to go under Tools, Network Services, and restart the Trust Verification service for the publisher. Once you've restarted those three services, if they're running on the publisher, then go ahead and move on to the subscriber and restart the same services if they're running, and continue down the line until you restarted those services for all nodes in your cluster. Once that's completed, you need to reboot all phones to force them to update their ITL. There's 3 ways of doing this. The first option is to go back under CMN Administration under System Enterprise Parameters. From here, if you click the Reset button, you can reset all devices associated to your cluster. Note that also includes gateways and trunks, so think of the best time of the day in order for you to do that. The second option to reboot all phones is to go under Device, Phone, search for the phones in question, select the phones, and click the Reset Selected button at the top. The third option is to go under Bulk Administration, Phones, Update Phones, Query. From here, you can also select the phones you want to restart and select to have them reset immediately. Finally, don't forget to go back to RTMT and check your registered phone device count. Give it a couple minutes, but make sure that all your registered devices come back online. If not, find out why and get that fixed before moving on to the next certificate. We hope this video has been helpful, and we'd like to thank you for watching.